Starts September 11th for the Saints and Falcons as they will play in Atlanta in the season opener. New Orleans a 5.5-point favorite on the road. The over-under at 42.5. The Braves coming off a series loss at the Cardinals, taking 1 out of 3. They will be at home starting Tuesday against the Rockies. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect a partly sunny sky. High temperatures topping out in the lower 90s for the afternoon, but heat index values will be back in the 100s. Scattered showers and storms possible in the afternoon as well. For your Monday night, a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the lower 70s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You want coffee? Anybody want coffee?
Thom, can you get me a dog? Roll type C.
The Italian's tired.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern bred, southern fed, slick talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the Junkyard Babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Reaction Monday in the Doghouse. Look, we got a busy 2 hours for you today. There is no chance we get to everything. There's no chance. Mondays are going to be like this all season now. No chance we get to everything. So just sit back and relax. We will get the phones open off the top of the show with a couple of other times in the show as well. So if you know what you want to talk about, you can go ahead and grab a line at 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. I'm looking for solid contributions to the show. We're looking to groom some new junkyard dogs. Do you know what a junkyard dog is? A junkyard dog is anybody who calls the show at least 3 times. All right, not in the same day. All right, so get your calls in, become a JYD. We got some plans for you coming up this year, but I'm looking for solid contributions. You can also become a JYD through the text window, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. Read those on the air, too. It's a great way to communicate with the show, especially on a day like today when we're slammed. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are on the Facebook and the Twitter where you can watch it at 97.7 ESPN. On Twitch and YouTube, you can watch us at WZZN TV. Sorry, WZZN TV. Watch on Twitch and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitch, like and subscribe on YouTube, get notifications as to when we go hot, which is like most of the day with all of our shows. Go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that. And get the app. You need the app. You need the Zone app and you need the Blitz app. You need to have both apps, okay? And you need to have them side by each on your phone. You'll get a link to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4, which is all of our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. The Blitz app, you can get shows like The Recruiting Blitz with Drew DeArmond from 9 to 10. The Afternoon Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandyman and Smokey Mike Honcho from 2 to 4. Army Football, okay? And you'll even hear Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff over there as well as on the air at 97.7 ESPN, given we don't have broadcast conflicts like with the Braves who are in a pennant race, okay? But it'll always be on the Blitz and often on the air as well. So check all of that out. Make sure you get both apps. Now, coming up on Friday night, region play begins in high school football. Buckhorn will be at Gadsden City on the air and on our primary stream, while Madison Academy will be at Pennington in Blounsville on Zone 2. And Randolph, coming off their 46-33 win over the Mustangs, will have JP2 at home on Zone 3. When do we announce the team of the week? Did they do that already? Today, this afternoon, tomorrow morning? I don't know when they do the team of the week, but I vote for Randolph. I mean, I don't have anything to do with it. I have nothing to say about it. The morning show doesn't. And I sent Scott Tyson a text message over the weekend, and I said, Randolph? I mean, they beat Madison Academy for the first time in 14 years. 46-33. We had that game covered two ways for you. I vote Randolph. No, it's not Hazel Green because they beat Green. No, Randolph. That's just me. The North Alabama High School Scoreboard Show will begin on the Blitz at 8:30 on Friday night. Be on the air on all of our streams by the time the rest of the games get over. Coming up in a few minutes, Thom Luginbill of ESPN joins us for some college football talk, courtesy of Woody Anderson Ford. We got to get into the mystery of Scott Frost and why he's been such a bust at his alma mater. 15-30 since he got there. 10-26 against the 10. Now he's lost against the 10 in like every state in the Big Ten footprint and in other countries. 0-14 against ranked teams. Northwestern, by the way, wasn't ranked. Northwestern was an 11.5-point dog to Nebraska. And the most damning thing, 5-21 in one-score games. That's where a head coach makes his money, the one-score game. That's the difference often in a one-score game is the decisions made by the head coach. Like, I don't know, with 9 minutes to go in the third, and you just took an 11-point lead, maybe you kick it deep. I mean, what do I know? Maybe you kick the ball deep. They want onside kick. Northwestern took possession of the very easy onside kick at the Nebraska 45, took it in for a score, and now they got new life. Why? Maybe I should be like Desmond Howard and just say crap for the sake of saying crap. Apparently, ESPN's Desmond Howard has gone to the Colin Cowherd school of, quote, being wrong is better than being right, end quote. Howard's Final Four for this season is Texas A&M, Pittsburgh, his alma mater, Michigan, and Baylor. With the Aggies and Wolverines in the national championship game. Okay, whatever. I mean, really? Whatever. Colin Cowherd said in an interview, in my business, being absolutely absurdly wrong occasionally is a wonderful thing. Is anybody going to call out Desmond Howard when none of those teams make it in? Will he even care? Cowherd also said, quote, there's no money in being right. Close. Jeez. Really? There's no money in being right. Is that where we're at? Look, if Desmond Howard said Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, no one even picks up the story, right? I'm going to just say this. If it's my job to say the most ridiculous, wrong-headed thing to get attention, well, I'm not very good at my job. But, hey, I mean, look at the stuff. Look at some of the stuff. I like Paul Feinbaum. I like him more outside of his show than even in his show. But I like Paul. I'm fond of Paul. Paul and I get along. He knows who I am. We get along.
I know Tom.
Of course you do.
I know Tom, but I'm struggling on who the other person is.
I know. I like Paul. But Paul says some stupid crap. I mean, he just says some outrageously stupid stuff. And it gets attention. So, I don't know. Maybe that's where we're at nowadays. I mean, he makes a couple of million a year. I don't. You can just say whatever. And the more... Does it take stones to say something really outrageous on the air? Is that like insightful? Does it take like balls to say something totally like crazy on the air? Tom Brady got a facelift. That's why he was gone for 11 days. I have it on authority. It's not true, by the way. At the top of the 11, Joey Blackwell from BamaCentral.com is in for his weekly visit with us, as well as the Tide prepare for opening day with Utah State, who got the win against UConn, and fans were holding up, "We want Bama." They were trailing to UConn. Also get an update on the Brian Robinson story. How crazy is that? Brian Robinson shot twice in his lower, I don't know, does it mean his legs, his lower body, or whatever? I mean, he's not life-threatening. He put out a statement, but an apparent carjacking and robbery attempt on Brian Robinson? Wow. And he was having a great camp for the Washington Redskins and was slated to be seeing a lot of playing time. I'll ask him about that. And then Auburn captain, tight end John Samuel Schenker will join us courtesy of Valley Equipment Rental. There was some definite excitement at Daytona once they got to run that race on Sunday. It was supposed to be Saturday night, Sunday, and it had a big rain delay, which I personally was thankful for because I was in church. I didn't realize they were running at 9 o'clock in the morning. I would have set the DVR for that. But Austin Dillon laid the bumper horn on Austin Cindric with a couple of laps to go to get the win and get into the playoffs. That was his only way in, was to win that thing. Cindric understood it. He wasn't thrilled about it, but he understood it. Cindric had won the Daytona 500 to open the season there, so he was already in the playoffs. That led to one man and one man only winning our Bet US Friday trifecta. We'll give you an update on that in a minute. Over there in that little glass booth with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phone, just keeping us on the air. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective it doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm gonna jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizzalicious. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Had a good weekend, except for a little stuff with family, and but everything's good to go, and all signs are positive. So that's good. And it was like you've talked earlier, it was a rough night, Friday night for me as a Grissom grad. I
didn't say anything about Grissom today yet.
You said it on. I heard
it's in Unleashed.
I heard it on the Unleashed.
I don't understand it. I mean, how in the hell can you beat Russellville? Hazel Green got beat by Sparkman 77-9, while Grissom was beating Russellville.
Well,
then Grissom gets shut out by Hazel Green. I mean, what are you kidding me?
Well, Sparkman's really good, it seems like, and I'll tell you right now, it was a tale of two offenses for sure for Grissom. It was you could pass every which way the first game. In the second game, Hazel Green had a lot of pressure. Grissom was overthrowing a lot of receivers. It was just an off night. There were a lot of tough calls as well. That kind of went towards the home team, and I'm not going to call home cooking or anything like that. It was just very odd. It was like every positive play got returned. But it was just.
Well, yeah, but then why would you think they would be doing that? You think they would do that on purpose?
No. I mean, it's Hazel Green. It's at home. Come on, man. I mean, I'm a Grissom grad. You think
Hazel Green,
like they're shaving points or something? You know what I mean?
They had 3 teachers and like 2 parents from Hazel Green.
I'll say this.
The game.
I'll say this. Whoever was doing the scoreboard, other than doing the time, they were doing nothing else. I mean, literally, and the score and the time. That was it. You had no change in yardage. You had no quarter change.
Well,
it was very like it was. Come on, like get this right. So at least what we know what we're looking at, and it was a really good game.
Maybe it was a backup person. You know what I mean? It could have been like in church on Sunday, they kept putting the wrong words up on the screen to the song. You know what I mean? And I leaned over to my wife, and my wife knows like the words to every Christian song that was ever written. All the hymns, everything. So she's like, she don't care. She's not even looking at the words. Me, I got to look at the words. You know what I mean? So I'm looking up there, and they keep guy keeps putting the wrong words up, and so that was tough for me. Listen,
is like this me putting up the wrong day on the stream?
Is this a committee of one that picks the team of the week or what?
It's mostly, I believe it's just mostly Scott and Drew.
Is it Scott and Drew pick this themselves?
Yeah, they kind of go through it and they kind of pick who they feel like.
Is Huffman any good? I mean, look, Sparkman is a good team. They beat Hazel Green 77-9. Hazel Green's no good. And they beat Huffman 42-0. All right, so I get that. But my God, Randolph just beat Madison Academy for the first time ever on our air.
Yeah.
I vote Randolph. I think you and I should have a vote. I think this should be a vote. I think we should have 5 people. It should be like me and you and Mulatan and Drew and Scott should vote on this thing. That's what I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a morning show thing. I don't know. But isn't it the 97.7 ESPN, the Zone Team of the Week?
Brian Bank
Team of the Week?
Yeah.
By 97.7 ESPN, the Zone?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to stir up controversy here.
Well, then we're going to have to get everybody. We're going to have to get Brian Bank to vote. I mean.
Well, maybe Brian Bank should have a vote, too. I mean, it's their award, but, I mean, we're the experts at this stuff. I mean, we're the ones that, All right, so Randolph is not the team of the week, the Brian Bank team of the week. Randolph, you got love from me, though. I'm going to give you love. Randolph, excellent. Randolph, you are the Thom Abraham show of the week, team of the week. How about that? I just made Randolph.
Congratulations, Randolph.
Congratulations. You get nothing.
And it was fun being out there, by the way, to give out some free merch from, TOC and us as well. So it was very nice if you got a pendant or.
Oh, did you go down there?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I helped out. I helped out Captain Cole for a little while, and before I went to the game, and we gave out a lot of beach balls. So if any beach balls got on the field or were a problem at the game,
what a great giveaway!
/ TOC's problem.
What a great giveaway! I gotta get with Tommy and see where we can get. We need some 97.7 ESPN Zone beach balls. Let me get Wolverine Dan in here. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. You got a little over a 1-year-old in the house still until Tuesday. I've been watching her, and our Wi-Fi is kind of messed up. And I'm trying to get this picture clear in the carport because the Michigan Wolverines playing. I got to have it right. So anyway, we're moving these Wi-Fi towers. So
they're not playing anybody. You don't have to worry about them for like 5 weeks, 4 weeks. They don't even. Let me tell you something. Their schedule is so weak that they don't even name a starting quarterback. They're like, yeah, McNamara start the first game, and we'll let the other kid, McCarthy, will play the second game because we can beat him with the third string or the fourth string quarterback because we're playing like JV games.
Well, look, let's backtrack first, okay?
Yeah.
First off, Desmond Howard's a genius. Michigan will be in the Final Four.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. You say that, you'll see. Anyway, Yeah, he's a genius. But let's get back to, so now I think I'm set. We moved the tower closer to the TV in the kitchen, and I think I'm getting a good reception. So that's a good thing. And speaking of watching football, holy moly, the Lions, come on, man. I tell you what, they don't have their first-string quarterback, but I will say this about the Lions, and I don't think they played the Hutchinson. See, there's the problem.
No, he played. He played because he got held. He got held on the first series of the game. There was a Najee Harris run around the left end that was a very good run, and they had to call it back. He almost scored a touchdown. Maybe he scored a touchdown on it. They called it back because Hutchinson was held. He was in there.
No one's going to be able to contain that guy, Tom. I'm telling you, his motor. He's got a motor that's on warp speed. Trust me, you're not going to contain this guy.
I was watching some of that game because I had the game over 39. It ended up 19-9. I thought that the Lions were going to show up. I thought the Lions were going to try and win that game and show out.
They did show up, though.
They didn't show up in 9 points, the Lions. I mean, come on.
Jackson and Reynolds, if you watch that game, those running backs ran the ball pretty good. Wouldn't you agree?
I did. I got sick to my stomach watching them tumble over themselves, and I just stopped watching it. I just went back and started watching the score.
Okay.
It was terrible. 19-9.
Hey,
I mean, score some points.
All right. Let's move on to another game because you got to get going here. And then, what's up with Vanderbilt? I thought for sure it was a lead pipe lock with Hawaii. I think maybe Hawaii had a jet lag or something.
Yeah, but it was at Hawaii, so I don't know what they were jet lagging. The game was in Hawaii.
I thought it was at Vandy.
Vandy flew over there, ripped their pineapples from them, and came back.
They beat them with the pineapples.
They beat them over the head with a pineapple, 66 to.
Yeah, you go to the grocery store, you get chunked pineapples or crushed pineapples in a can.
Right.
Well, they got the crushed can. Is what they got.
Yeah, they did.
But hey, and then I was very thoroughly happy about. Was it I believe Thursday night or one of these nights where Northwestern maybe. Northwestern played Nebraska.
Yeah,
and
Saturday morning.
That coach ain't done nothing. Okay, that guy needs to go. They say he's a superstar.
I don't think so.
No,
all right, let me get to Thom Luganville because Lugs is going to talk about that very thing. We're going to talk about that game, which was Saturday morning.
Northwestern's coach because I like to see him.
Oh, he's always been good.
After Harbaugh leaves, I like him.
Yeah, Pat Fitzgerald's great, but he's a Northwestern guy. I don't think he's going anywhere. All right, Wolverine Dan, good job by you. Thursday night or Saturday morning, whenever that game was. All right, Ray Dog, stay put if you can. I got to get to Thom Luganville. If he didn't have a hard schedule, I would get you in here, but I'm not going to. So we'll come back with Lugs next. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in and trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan Spartman, hope to see you soon.
Depression and anxiety affect almost 20% of Americans each year. At Integrated Behavioral Health, our mission is to provide patient-centered, high-quality mental health services in a caring and compassionate setting.
IBH staff is wonderfully compassionate and friendly. They help me through a lot of my issues. I love this place.
If you're dealing with depression, anxiety, or other mental health disorders, make your appointment today. Call 855-422-1618. Integrated Behavioral Health in Madison and Decatur.
Carrier Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Now I'm fighting with Scott Tyson on Twitter, demanding a recount at the Randolph B. Madison Academy for the first time in 14 years. We're just having some fun. Good job by Sparkman, Brian Bank, Team of the Week. And Huntsville High Volleyball, too. Good job by you guys. All right, also a good job by Tom Luganville over the weekend doing some high school football, and we're all kind of looking forward to the big college football weekend coming up this weekend. Tommy is brought to us by the fine folks at Woody Anderson Ford, where the service department is second to none. They're ready to do the service on your vehicle. Make an appointment today to have your vehicle serviced at Woody Anderson Ford. Luke joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Tommy, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I want to ask you. Look, I know you're not going to be critical, maybe of your brethren, of your own brethren, but you know this business that we're in. Should we try and be somewhat factual, or are we charged with just saying the stupidest things possible to get a reaction? Because that's what your former colleague Colin Coward says, that it's being absolutely absurdly wrong is a wonderful thing. Which makes me think of Desmond Howard, who says that he goes on the TV and he says that Texas A&M, Pittsburgh, his alma mater, Michigan, and Baylor are your Final Four teams, with Aggies and the Wolverines in the national title game. And everybody's talking about it because it's such a stupid take. But if he had just said, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, then nobody would be talking about it. Do you agree or disagree with Mr. Desmond?
On his selections?
Selections.
Yeah, no, I strongly disagree. But
you don't think Pittsburgh and Baylor are in the Final Four?
Yeah, I mean, more so than the selections, I'd just be more curious as to why,
Yeah.
And I know that segment was at the very, very end of the thing, and it wasn't as if, Reese had a lot of time for a follow-up. But, yeah, that was a little head-scratching to me. But everybody has their picks for a reason. And, listen, it really, at the end of the day, you probably have a fairly safe bet if 3 of your 4 teams, or Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama, you got a pretty safe bet that you're probably going to be right on 3 of the 4 teams. The 4th, I think, who knows? Could it be Baylor? Could it be Clemson? Who else could it be?
Right.
But so I figure, given preseason prognostications and as much grief as we take on social media for every little thing that we say, I'd probably take the safe.
Well, I mean, and then the flip side of that argument is that wouldn't it be better if those kind of takes from Desmond Howard were fairly accurate, in as much as that, maybe that's one of the issues. And I'm not one that says college football's broke and all this other kind of stuff. But one of the issues is, if you're right, if you say Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, chances are you're going to be 75% right. In a sport that has, 65 Power 5 conference teams and supposedly 120 Division I teams, the fact that we can pick 3 out of the 4 probably, like shooting fish in a barrel, maybe that's a little bit of an issue. Maybe it'd be better if it was like with Desmond, you just start naming all these other teams.
Well, the problem is how are you going to do that? Are we all of a sudden going to allot every team in America all of Alabama's resources? I mean, that's never going to happen. And then on top of it, you've also got to consider the geographic footprint that we are discussing when it comes to the caliber of player that it takes to play at that level. And by and large, the vast majority of them reside in the southeast portion of the country. I mean, even when you look at Ohio State and you look at where a lot of their best players are from, they're not from the Midwest. Joey and Nick Bosa were from Florida. Raekwon McMillan was from Georgia. Von Bell was from Georgia. Jackson Smith and Jigba and C.J. Stroud are from California. I mean, we're not talking. You look at Clemson. You look at Alabama. You look at Georgia. You look at LSU when they've been really good. Auburn when they've been really good. There's a common denominator there, and that is the footprint that they reside in from a recruiting pool to select from.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's no doubt about it. And that's also why there was a period of time when the Big Ten was dominating, because those great players that were coming out of Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan, and that was thought to be, was the boom of the southeast portion of the country over the last 30 years that kind of created this shift. I did tweet out on Saturday, as an unabashed SEC honk, I think a strong Nebraska team would be great for college football. I'd love to see Nebraska. I did that. That was before the onside kick with an 11-point lead in the third quarter. Wouldn't it be good to have a nice team in Nebraska? That would be great to have a good football team in Nebraska. And it's a mystery to me how Scott Frost has failed so miserably there.
Oh, it's not a mystery to me at all. That job is one of the most difficult jobs in today's college football climate. I've always said the worst thing to ever happen to Nebraska football was the advent of cable television. So let's go back 40, 45 years, and you look at Nebraska in their heyday, all right? You had 105 scholarships. Now we have 85 scholarships. You had unlimited walk-ons. Now we have walk-on restrictions, all right? You had a handful of teams that were playing in bowls because there were only a handful of bowls, and Nebraska was one of them. So you had in Alabama, you'd have Nebraska, you'd have Notre Dame, you'd maybe have USC,
Oklahoma,
sometimes maybe you have Ohio State or Texas. Those were your teams, right? Then all of a sudden, cable television was invented. Now you have all of these teams receiving all of this exposure that never received any before. The arms race began, all right? You had this massive, massive increase in bowl games. So now everybody has the luxury of going to a bowl game. So all of these different things that Nebraska had such luxuries with no longer exist. And then to pile on top of that, here's their biggest problem, is they don't have any players to recruit. There's no players in state. Look at the states that border the state of Nebraska, all right? There aren't any football players in there. So what's happening in today's college football landscape is in recruiting, kids are coming on campus in an unofficial capacity as eighth graders, freshmen, sophomores, coming multiple times a year, coming to games, coming to spring practice, coming to junior days, all doing it by car, all right? How is Nebraska supposed to compete with that? How are they supposed to go into Dallas, Texas, and how's a kid supposed to get to Lincoln, Nebraska on his own dime? So it's not going to happen.
Yeah. You know,
when I look at their recruiting classes, real quick, Tom, let me follow up with this. I think it was the 2014 class. I may be off on the year. Don't quote me on the year. But we actually went and looked at it. And the average miles away from Lincoln, Nebraska, of every prospect they signed was almost 900 miles.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
How are they supposed to compete when 10 of the top 25 players in the country are within a 200-mile radius of Alabama or Georgia or Clemson, can come to campus anytime they want? How's Nebraska supposed to compete with that?
Thom Luganville with us here talking some college football. All right, so to me the most damning thing is the 5-21 and I'll call them one-run games, one-score games, all right? The 5-21 record that Scott Frost has in one-score games. Now, to me, that's where a coach makes a difference. You know what I mean? When you get to that point, that's where the coach makes the difference in one-score games. But what you're saying are you saying that Scott Frost is overachieving getting into all of these one-score games, or is he underachieving by not winning some of these games? He's never beaten a ranked team at Nebraska, and he's 5-21 in one-score games, and there was no excuse to lose that football game to Northwestern. I mean, come on. They're up 11 points, 9 minutes to go in the third, step on their throat and finish them off, kick the ball deep, and he does onside kick? What and give them momentum? That made no sense at all.
So I think that, no, he's underachieved without question. I would say that Bo Pelini overachieved. And Bo Pelini didn't get fired for averaging almost 10 wins a season. He got fired for the teams he'd lost to. Mm-hmm. They would go 9-3, or they'd go 10-4, or something like that, and then they'd lose to Minnesota, or they'd lose to Northwestern. That's why Bo Pelini got fired. But he probably did as good a job as you could possibly do. My biggest beef with Nebraska is all these people keep saying, oh, well, they could flip that. If they just win those close games, they're automatically a 9-win football team. Have you looked at their football team? Have you seen how slow they are? When your top target is through the transfer portal and he came from New Mexico State, what does that say about the talent on your roster? So we can talk all we want about coaching. And, yes, he's got to coach better in close games, but they're not very good, Tom. I mean, the bottom line is they can't run on defense, all right? They don't have any weapons. And we talk about them like, well, if they just didn't turn the ball over, they won close games, they'd be really, really good. Well, let's just say half of the bad things that happened to them last year didn't happen to them. Just half, all right? That still only makes them 6-6. They were 3-9. You can't be that bad, all right? You can't. You're going to be 3-9, but if you're a decent football team athletically, you at least pull off some of those games, and they didn't do it. Now, let me say something about the onside kick, because I get it and I see it. He's sitting there up 11. They are putting the nail in the coffin. He sees the momentum completely shifting to their side. They've got energy. They've got enthusiasm. And he got greedy. And my response to that is I think there's a lot of coaches that maybe would have thought about doing the same thing. But the difference between Nebraska attempting that right now and anybody else is Nebraska doesn't have the equity, okay, as a program right now to make a call like that.
Screw it up, yeah.
They haven't won enough games or been in a position to take that risk yet. They need to walk or crawl before they walk, and that means forget the onside kick. Just leave Dublin with a win. Then next week, maybe you leave with another win, and then with another one. And then when you get in that moment again, and you've generated some equity as a program, and you make that call, and you got momentum, and you're up by 11, there might be some people that look at you and say, hey, listen, I like the aggressiveness. But they don't have the equity in the program to make that call right now.
Another one of your colleagues, Stephen A. Smith, was singing the praises of Nick Saban after the new contract extension. For whatever that's worth, they just keep bumping him up, making sure that he's the highest paid coach. and he was debating with Chris Russo, who is a New York City guy, does have a knowledge of college football, but not a strong knowledge of college football. I like Chris, too. Chris is a friend. I almost ended up working for him in 2008, so I get it.
He's Nick freaking Saban.
Yeah, that was that was our boy Stephen A. But Russo said it's much more difficult to win at Notre Dame than it is to win at Alabama. My retort to that last week was that I think if Nick Saban had gone to Notre Dame, I think during this last 15 years, they might have won 5 national championships. What's your take on that? Do you think Nick Saban could have done not quite as well as at Alabama, but would Nick Saban have won 4 or 5 national championships at Notre Dame?
Oh, boy. I don't know. I think the only way to answer that question is if he recruited the Southeast and was able to steal great players and prevent them from going to LSU, Alabama, and Georgia. It's the only way you do it. Because Brian Kelly probably did as good a job as you can do at Notre Dame without having a huge roster full of kids from the Southeast. That's why every time they got into a playoff scenario or a high-profile New Year's Six game and they played against somebody that's got people up front, predominantly from the South, they got their tail kicked. So that to answer that question, you'd have to say, yes, he could have if he stole great players from the Southeast. And I don't know if there's any guarantee of that. You know, South Bend, Indiana, you know, it's not Lincoln, Nebraska, but you're in a cold weather climate and you do have to go national to recruit, which isn't always easy. Everybody always thinks that's such a luxury. Sometimes that can be a real difficulty because you can't be everywhere at once, right? And so I don't know. I mean, I say this. I think that until Nick Saban retires or until Nick Saban proves to no longer be effective, there should not be any coach in America making more money than Nick Saban. Period.
Thom Luganville with us. You got a really nice game on Monday night, in as much as that we get to see Clemson play. And the game is in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. We don't expect Georgia Tech to necessarily put a huge push up against Clemson, but it's our first opportunity to see on Monday night, no other games, our first opportunity to see whether or not Clemson can be back to what Clemson is supposed to look like on Monday night. What's your prep for that game telling you?
Well, you know, I happened to have them in their bowl game last year, so I ended the season with them, and I'm starting the season with them. They have only one glaring issue, and that is the quarterback position, and that's a big glaring issue. When I say glaring, DJ Uiagalelei just has not shown to be an effective and innately accurate passer. He's just not. So if he makes the routine throws, then they're going to be just fine. If he doesn't, then there's going to be a short leash because they are too good at all of the other spots. They are loaded on defense. They're going to be vastly improved in the offensive line. They got a home run hitter at running back. They got a bunch of weapons that had to play last year because of injuries and COVID, and all of a sudden those guys are back and experienced. So I'm going to be interested to see how well DJ plays, and if he doesn't play well, how long it takes for them to put the freshman Cade Klubnik in the game. Now, Dabo will never say that. Dabo's going to back his horse, and his horse right now is DJ, and it has to be, okay? And then on the Georgia Tech side, what's interesting about them, if you go, and people haven't done this, but go take a look at their two deep. It's like they've got a transfer portal guy at almost every single position on the team. So Jeff Collins is trying to completely revamp that thing almost in an overnight fashion because, you know, I think time's running thin. He's a bit on the hot seat there in Atlanta. So it'll be interesting to see if that influx of transfer portal guys makes a huge dent on the field rather quickly for Georgia Tech.
And finally, with respect to the Georgia-Oregon game, which is certainly a bit salty, this Notre Dame-Ohio State game on Saturday night at the Horseshoe, that's the game of the weekend. I mean, you look, that's supposed to be number 5 against number 2. And I was stunned. I always say that if you really want to poll, go see what the handicappers are saying. Notre Dame opened as a 14-point underdog in that game. Now that's 17.5. I mean, this is supposed to be 5v2. Is the gap 17.5? Does Ohio State blow Notre Dame? Basically, that's a blowout. Is that what we're looking at Saturday night in the Horseshoe?
Potentially, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if we're going to sit here knowing what we know about Ohio State offensively, knowing what we know about the quarterback, and knowing what we don't know about Notre Dame, I mean, aren't we having to kind of resign ourselves to the fact that for that to be a game, Notre Dame might have to be prepared to score 40 to be in the game? I mean, do we believe that they're going to do that? I don't know. See, I'm a much bigger believer in Ohio State on defense than other people are, because their issues a year ago were twofold. It was youth, and it was a vanilla coaching approach. It was not a lack of talent. They just don't have any upperclassmen. Virtually that entire defense is too deep, is all back, and they all played. And I think with the addition of Jim Knowles, they're going to be just fine when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. So I think from a preseason perspective, Notre Dame is overranked. I think most people would agree in that regard. I do not see a top 5 roster profile with them. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State pulls away from that thing and wins by 21 or more.
Thom Luginbill has been our guest, courtesy of Woody Anderson Ford. Lugs, as always, I appreciate you so much, and have a great call there. Do you have any high school before that, or are you just straight to Monday night?
No, I'm done. I had last Thursday night and then Saturday night for high school in Dallas, and just got home yesterday. So I'm all college going forward now.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Have a great call on Monday.
All right, thanks. See you.
Thom Luginbill, our guest there. And Georgia, by the way, a 17.5-point favorite against Oregon as well. Those two games, I'm going to tell you right now, will be in the BetUS Friday trifecta. I mean, those two games will be in there. Stunning to me. Georgia, a 17.5-point favorite over Oregon. Ohio State, a 17.5-point favorite over Notre Dame. And this quick look at the lines brought to you by BetUS.com. Back for their 28th year of NFL action with the industry's biggest sign-up bonuses up to 200%. BetUS offers their members the chance to cash in on all your favorite sports sign-up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US where the game begins. Use the promo code RADIO. All right, when you go to BetUS.com and sign up, use the radio code. Use the promo code RADIO. That's the promo code RADIO to get your great deal at BetUS.com. All right, we're going to break in here. We'll come back. Phone lines go open again next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life, more important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Attention sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US and get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect a partly sunny sky. High temperatures topping out in the lower 90s for the afternoon. My heat index values will be back in the 100s. Scattered showers and storms possible in the afternoon as well. For your Monday night, a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the lower 70s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
4 Heisman Trophy winners, 33 Southeastern Conference championships, 18 national championships. Hi, this is Chris Stewart of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by TOC Sports and the trainers at Huntsville Hospital. TOC with the Friday night after hours clinic open for all athletes that might get dinged up in a game on a Friday night. And don't forget, TOC is there for you. It's the orthopedic center. They're not just sports specialists. They're there for you if you get hurt, work injury, or any kind of an injury. Anything that's orthopedic, they can help you there at TOC. Saw Dr. John Greco on the sidelines at the Buckhorn game on Friday night. It was great to see Doc Greco. He was right there. I don't think he saw me. Well, he knew I was there because he texted me, but I saw him down on the sidelines. I tried to wave to him, but he couldn't see us, I don't think, up in the booth. He looked like he was looking up that way, but he probably didn't know where I was in the booth. But that just goes to show you how they are. I mean, that's Dr. John Greco. He's one of the founders. TOC's at a game. He's standing on the sidelines at Buckhorn. All right, let's go to the lines. Up first, in patiently waiting, Ray Dog. Ray Dog, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am tremendous.
Do me a favor, first off. Relay happy belated birthday to the lovely JYB.
I will. We had a great birthday weekend for her. We celebrated it on Saturday with the whole family over, and then yesterday about 13 of us all went to church together, and and we took up 2 pews, and then I took them all to breakfast and brunch after church, and it was she had a great holiday weekend, and got a new sewing machine out of the deal. Got a beautiful new Husqvarna sewing machine, so she's very happy.
There you go. See, I had to make my Seattle run yesterday, so
wow,
I was pretty out of pocket, but Seattle and back in one day.
Couldn't hang out there for a minute?
No, not this trip.
I mean, those kids are old enough to travel by themselves, aren't they? I mean, they're like 8 feet tall.
They specifically, Jackson, he likes it when I go with him. So
really?
Yeah. So I'm hard-pressed to tell him no.
Yeah.
But let's get to a few things. First of all, Clemson, before this run they've had the last decade, for 40 years we all looked around and said, why isn't Clemson better? Is this where they start to take that step back?
I don't think so. I think last year was the anomaly. I think last year was the anomaly. I'm going to say that Dabo Swinney is too good of a coach. This quarterback has to do something with him early. He's got a hotshot recruit in there. And, no, I don't think Clemson's stepping back, especially because I'm not ready to say that Miami is back, and I sure as heck I'm not ready to say that Florida State is back. So there's nobody to push them in that league. There's nobody pushing them.
And let's establish something. Colin Cowherd has been on the being wrong, I don't care train.
Yeah.
He has always said, don't worry about being wrong or right. Be interesting.
Yes.
So
yes, and that's weird.
Being right into the wind forever.
And that's weird for me because I don't understand. Look, I'm all about having strong takes. I mean, there's no doubt you want to have a strong take, but I don't understand just saying outrageous stupid crap just to say outrageous stupid crap. I mean, the Chubby Ninja says it takes no stones to say stupid crap when everyone knows they're only saying stupid crap to get attention. This is why we listen to the Big Dog Show. No stupid crap and great guests, the Chubby Ninja. No, I say stupid crap, but I'm not going to say stupid crap like, Middle Tennessee is going to the college football playoff.
And the last thing, I agree with Thom Abraham. It should be Randolph, School of the Week, and senior wide receiver, Keegan Morse.
I don't know any of the details of the game. All I know is they won the game, and I screwed it up during the thing. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All I know is, Grizz, I screwed it up during my broadcast. I read the score wrong that I was given by Bandyman.
Way to go.
And I read the score backwards.
Because I wasn't there.
I was like, Madison Academy is hammering Randolph 33-14 at the time. And he's like, text me, he goes, I think you got that backwards.
Did he type it in backwards?
I'm asking him for scores, too. I'm like, all right, give me scores. I need scores. And he gives me the score, and I read it backwards. Moron. That wasn't a stupid take by me. That was a moron take. Moron. All right, Philip, hopefully I can get to you at some particular point in time here. You know what, Philip? If you stay through the top of the hour, I will grab you right before Joey Blackwell. How about that? Joey Blackwell and Auburn captain John Samuel Schenker in hour number 2 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When a nasty cold keeps you up all night, Vicks NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms, which changes a night that sounds like this into a night that sounds more like this. Ah, that's better. NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, stuffy head, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold, medicine. Use as directed.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's North Alabama Mortgage.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. With the NFL preseason in the rearview mirror, one of the big questions remains, who will the Steelers' starting quarterback be? Following Pittsburgh's preseason finale yesterday, Coach Mike Tomlin remained tight-lipped on whether Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett will be the starter for Week 1. More on the NFL with One Question, featuring our NFL Nation reporters, coming up on Greeny in 35 minutes. Astros ace Justin Verlander set for imaging on his calf today. He left yesterday's start after 3 innings due to right calf discomfort. Live coverage of the U.S. Open underway on ESPN+. Tennis's final major of the year, expected to be the final major for the legendary Serena Williams. She faces Danka Kovinic in her opening round match tonight. Coverage 7 Eastern on ESPN TV. The 40-year-old Serena recently wrote of her impending retirement in a one-person essay for Vogue.
local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 on a fast-moving Reaction Monday in the Doghouse. Overreaction Monday. As I said, we won't get to everything that we want to get to, but certainly we've got all week to get to all of it. And this segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Whether it's a refi like I did or whether it's a new purchase, you need North Alabama Mortgage. You need to be pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage in Tennessee and Alabama and Florida so that when you go in with your offer, you're ready to close. That you tell them, look, as soon as you're ready, I'm ready because I'm pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage, all right? Brian Hammaker and his team will walk you through the whole thing. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. And as always, we appreciate their help in everything that we do. They're bringing you Army football this year on the Blitz. They're bringing you Madison Academy football on Zone 2. They're always stepping up. Any charitable things that we do, anything like that, North Alabama Mortgage is always there to help out. All right, let me get to Philip in here before we get to Joey Blackwell from BamaCentral.com. Philip, what's going on?
All right. Sorry I couldn't get to you earlier last week, but I owe you dinner. You can have the steak. I'll eat crow. But
Philip referring to the Yankees' 2-game sweep of the Mets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what it refers to.
Yeah.
I need to. Are you aware of the congratulations? By the way, whatever.
They split with the Oakland A's, for God's sakes. They lost the last 2 games. They were one hit. Forget scoring. They were 1 for 44 at the plate Saturday and Sunday before they scored a couple of runs. They were 1 for 44 in terms of getting a hit. It's miserable. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are you aware of the Saturday's events in Flushing with the old timers game for the Mets?
No, I was not.
Okay, they had an old timers game.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, we had to jump through all kinds of hurdles to actually get it. I'm glad my cousin could figure out how you can watch this. Why is Thursday night NFL now only on Prime? I don't want to get off track, but I'm really getting sick of that stuff. But anyway, so we watched it. We watched the pregame. They had interviews with all the old timers. They, it was fantastic. The game was fantastic. It was fantastic. And then they have this unveiling of the next retired number for the New York Mets. And I'm thinking this whole time, and especially since Keith Hernandez's number got retired, there was a lot of backlash about, hey, we love Keith, but Gary Carter should be first. No one will go in for Gary Carter. And Gary Carter's name was never mentioned. Never mentioned. Not by when they even announced Mets that had passed away.
What?
Gary Carter's name didn't come up. Then all of a sudden, They show this is pregame. They bring attention to the center of the field, and you can tell there's people out there. There's a big number thingamajigger with a blanket hanging over it. We're going to have this big unveil. Tom, I'm in tears. I'm crying, thinking that Gary Carter, whose number will be retired.
Yeah.
You know whose number they retired?
Better not be Dwight Gooden or somebody like that.
Worse.
Daryl Strawberry.
And I don't mean this guy's a bad person. Willie Mays.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. How could they retire? Why would they retire? Willie Mays played like 2 seasons for the Mets. He was stumbling around out there, bumbling, and everything else. I saw that. Here's
terrible. Why. The backstory is the owner back in the day, I think it was a lady actually, that convinced him to come to play for the Mets, promised him that if he did, his number would forever be retired in New York.
Has anybody worn it since he retired back in 90 or 74 or whatever it was?
I don't know. I couldn't.
People have worn 24, sure. Haven't they?
But
well, you know that the owner now, you realize the reason Citi Field looks like Ebbets Field is because the owner was such a big New York Giants fan. Or no, the Polo Grounds or whatever it was. It looks like because he was a big New York Giants fan. If it was up to him, they'd be wearing Giants colors. They'd be wearing orange and black, not orange and blue.
Yeah. But it just that floored me. Mm-hmm. It just absolutely, and it's no disrespect. People came at me, oh my God, Willie Mays is the greatest baseball player ever. I'm not saying he's not. But when you think of the New York Mets, what's the last thing you have to think of? 86. How can you not think of 86 without Gary freaking Carter?
Yeah.
Who true was not a lifetime Met, but he was there for almost 6 years. He was at the time the greatest catcher on the face of the earth, defensively and offensively. Look at what he did in Game 6. If it wasn't Game 6, there's no 86. Gary Carter was huge for the New York Mets. The man suffered a horrific, miserable death way, way, way too early. Very sad, very sad. One of my childhood heroes. And
I don't understand how they don't mention him, though, during the thing. That's the part that's weird.
His name never came up. None of the former players ever once even said, boy, I sure wish Gary could be here. Because it's been like forever since they've had an old-timers day because of our miserable, pathetic owners that we had before. And now we finally got this going on. Gary Carter's name never once came up. He was never mentioned, not in the broadcast, pregame, during game, post-game, then the actual Mets game never came up, and we retired Willie Mays' number.
Yeah, it's weak. All right. Appreciate the call, Philip. I appreciate it. Man, how about them Cowboys? I appreciate the sentiment. All right, joining us now, a guy does a tremendous job at BamaCentral.com. It is game week. He is Joey Blackwell. He is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Joey, welcome back. How are you?
Doing well, Tom. How are you on this almost depth chart day?
It is almost depth chart day. Now, he's not going to – listen, breaking news – T.J. Finley is the starting quarterback at Auburn, and Michigan has such a weak schedule, they don't even care. They're just going to start playing guys. They'll play one guy this week or another guy next week. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Bryce Young will start this week and next week at Texas. He'll start this week against Utah State and next week against Texas. Am I out there on a limb?
Yeah, I think if he performs well enough, he might start week 3 as well.
Yeah.
But don't quote me on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. So what's up with Alabama has played these preseason or not preseason, these opening day neutral site games for it seems like ever, but it's been about 9 or 10 years in a row, something like 10 years. I think 2012 or maybe 2011 was maybe the last time that they played at home to open the season. And now I'm looking at the future schedules. MTSU next year at home, Western Kentucky August 31st at home in 2024, at Florida State August 30th of 2025, at West Virginia 2026, West Virginia at home 2027. Is Alabama out of the neutral site opening day game business? What's up with that?
Yeah, it seems like they are for the near future. You nailed it right on the head. 2011 was the last time that Alabama played a home game to open the season, and that was against Kent State, which was Nick Saban's alma mater. I think Alabama won that game 48-7, so it was a slugfest. But yeah, it seems like in the near future that's going to be the case, at least for the next 5 or 6 years here. But I mean, Alabama does have some top tier opponents lined up in the Power Five. But that being said, this is a fan base that's gotten used to traveling to Atlanta or Dallas seemingly every opening week, and that's not going to be the case this year.
Well, or for the next 5 years, and if it's home and home with Texas or home and home with, I know they got some good home and home set up, but they're not generally week one. The West Virginia game is semi-legit, so that's week one game there. Who knows what the conference West Virginia may? It might be a conference game by then. Who the hell knows where West Virginia will be? But, MTSU, Western Kentucky, people like that. The game at Florida State, that's a salty game to open up the 2025 season. But I wonder if the fans would rather play a legit big-time Power 5 opponent at a neutral site game versus a home game against a cupcake.
Well, there's definitely a lot more pomp and circumstance around, the neutral site, big Power 5 openers is something that Alabama's gotten used to. Most, being defending national champions or not, they usually have successful seasons, like to build on that at those neutral home openers. If I'm a coach though or a player though, I actually prefer playing a cupcake first, and my reason being would be that you get to iron out the kinks.
Preseason game, basically.
Yeah, it's like a preseason game. You don't have to. It's easier to get up for those big games, like a Texas if it was a week one game. But at the same time, you're really, you kind of are given a slight margin of error to try to iron out some issues that your team might be having before heading to those big week two games.
All right, let's talk about this depth chart that we are going to see. If I say up front, Tyler Steen, Kendall Randolph, Delcourt, Ekiyor, and J.C. Latham at right tackle, am I on it? Is that it?
That sounds about right. From what I've heard, that seems to be the case. And we're actually about to meet with Darian Delcourt for the first time tomorrow. And the fact that he's on the media schedule means that he is going to have one of those starting spots. Might even be named the starting center. That has yet to be seen. We'll find that out at noon today. But yeah, it seems like you're not too far off with that offensive line projection.
What about the tight end spot? Is that Robbie Utz, or where are we going there?
I think we're going Robbie Utz. I think that makes the most sense right now. Nick Saban's talked to him about him, highly enough, heading into this year. Says that he's done a really good job stepping up with Cam Latu out, periodically with his injury. So it seems that it's going to be Utz to start off with. Maybe we'll see Latu be rotated in after he gets back from his injury, but for now, Utz seems to be the name around Tuscaloosa.
Obviously, Jermaine Burton, it feels like Ja'Cory Brooks. They're going to rotate a lot of wide receivers, so we're going to see a lot of different bodies. Trayshawn Holden has looked good in camp, and Kobe Prentice. How do you sort all of these guys out?
Well, I think we're going to have, like you said, Jermaine Burton is definitely, bar none, going to be starting. We've started recently hearing Tyler Harrell's name being thrown about. I don't think he's going to be week one starter. I think Ja'Cory Brooks beats him out. But, the injury to Earl, I think, is really throwing things for a loop a little bit. But from what I've heard, Trayshawn Holden is more than capable of stepping up into that spot, at least, on a temporary basis. So, I think the day one starters, I think we'll see Burton, probably Brooks, and then Holden. But that being said, we have heard so little about Harrell, aside from him being injured. I'd like to see maybe him rotated in after he recovers.
Tell us more about the Prentice kid, though, because I've heard some good things about him and expect that he'll be in there as well.
Yeah, Kobe Prentice, he really had a solid second scrimmage. He's a young guy, obviously, who's really been kind of overshadowed by the veteran talent that they have with Harrell and Burton coming in. But he's a kid that's been very dependable, very consistent, which is something that Nick Saban's been talking about what he wanted more from his wide receivers in the scrimmages was consistency. He said there were a lot of really, well-caught passes, but at the same time there were a lot of drops, so they need to be more consistent. And from what I've heard, Prentice has been one of those guys that's been kind of day in, day out, one of the more consistent hands in the wide receiver corps. So it would not shock me to see him kind of rotated out. But like I said, with that Earl injury, I'm expected to see a lot of guys rotated a little bit earlier than we might typically expect in a season opener.
Joey Blackwell with us here talking about Alabama and what we're going to see on this roster going into this game against Utah State, which will be a number of players, I think, playing. By the way, I don't know how much of that Utah State game you watched. They did not look real impressive early, being down to UConn. Ultimately pull away and get the 10-point win in that game. But I thought that they would have an easier way with UConn in that game.
Yeah, down 14 early against UConn is never a good look. But at the same time, they were able to come back. They got a 24-point second quarter. I did like what I saw from their quarterback, Logan Bonner, 20 for 29. He had almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, so a solid effort from him. But, this is a Utah State team, that is coming off of a Mountain West championship, an 11-3 season, which is certainly no slouch. So will they be able to hang with Alabama and Bryant Denny? Probably not. But at the same time, this isn't exactly going to be Alabama's easiest game of the season. This is a really talented team, and I think that Anderson has done a solid job as just heading into his second year coaching the Aggies.
Yeah, I think he's done a nice job with them. I don't know that it'll be too much of a push here, but it will be a good test for a team that just the first time you get to look at other guys. Now the defense is very veteran laden. Are we going to see 3 seniors starting on the D-line when they roll out the first D-line?
Yeah, we might. They have a really solid defense. They returned 5 starters this year, 2 DBs and 2 defensive linemen and a linebacker. They and AJ Von. I always struggle with his last name, but I think it's Von Benson. I think it's how you say his last name. He's their leading tackler. He's returning, on defensive line. Also linebacker. You have all second team All Mountain West selection and Justin Rice, who ranking 5th in the conference in tackles. So you have a really, really solid defense. So that being said, they were a little lackluster last year. I think they finished 77th overall in total defense. Their offense is definitely where their strengths are. But this is a defense that can sneak up on some people. But they did struggle early on in the game against UConn, which does, raise some concern.
Now, see, that's a bad job by me because I went Utah State, and then I was back on the Tide, and you're still on Utah State, which is smart by you. So that was a bad job by me saying now Alabama's defense that we're going to see here. Joey Blackwell with us. Alabama's going to start 3 seniors in the defensive line, don't you think? I mean, DJ Dale will be in there, Brian Young will be in there, Evan Joby will be in there, right? I mean, that's a senior-laden defensive front.
Yeah, I think this is this is one of Alabama's best defensive fronts they've had in a while. I mean, that's not even including Dallas Turner, Will Anderson off the edge. They do have a lot of veteran leadership in the middle there, particularly with DJ Dale, who, from what I've heard, is really impressed in practices. I really have liked what I've seen. Alabama's defensive front, particularly the interior last year, was kind of a weakness for them. On the edge, they were great, obviously, but in the interior, they struggled. And Saban said a few weeks ago that they still had some work to do there. They were struggling against the rush, but in his last scrimmage, he said that they had very much improved on the defensive interior. So hopefully, with this veteran leadership that they have there, is something they've lacked, over the past season. So it's definitely an area of improvement for them.
Also, got certainly got some senior leadership in the inside linebacker spots with Jalen Moody and Henry To'oto'o. Will Anderson, of course, at the Jack, is a glorified, more defensive end, really, even than a linebacker. The way he plays, the way they play him. I mean, it seems like he's coming on almost every play, the way he lines up. But Dallas Turner, young guy there, Kool-Aid McKinstry. I mean, this is it's his gig. It's his job. He's the youngin' in this defensive backfield. So I think that's something that's really interesting to look at. But where are we at with Eli Ricks? I mean, Eli Ricks came in here, and he's supposed to be, the alpha dog in the defensive backfield, nationally a guy that is thought of very, very highly. He's had a hard time learning the playbook. He's been dinged up and so on. Where are we at with Eli Ricks?
Well, from what we've heard, he has returned to practice, and he should be good to play this weekend. So that's the first positive news. And, we checked in on him last week, not him in particular, but, we talked to Jordan Battle, and Battle said that he had been progressing and learning the playbook and that he was finally, kind of starting to fit into the schemes and get the playbook down pat. So, it has taken him a while to adjust, a lot longer than most people thought. But, I really think that he has an opportunity to really shine at Alabama, particularly with all the players that are, around him. The aforementioned Jordan Battle, and you mentioned Kool-Aid McKinstry. This is really a solid defensive backfield for the Crimson Tide, and Eli Ricks really has the potential to be the best player in the defensive backfield for Alabama, and that's saying a lot. So I think he'll be just fine. I think from what I've heard, he's gotten back. He might be a little, sluggish, just, still recovering from his injury, but I think we'll definitely see him, take on that full-time role by the time Alabama travels to Austin.
And new names, young guys, fans always want to know what the next wave of guys are. Will we see Monkell Goodwine in there a lot? I mean, where we're going to see him in a regular rotation type spot? Or who might be some of the other new names, young kids that we might see in there? Terrion Arnold, I mean, will he get in at all? I mean, who are those guys?
I've heard really positive things about Terrion Arnold. I've heard that he's really impressed in practices. But that being said, I think that's a great thing. It's another, advantage to playing a team like Utah State to start off with. I know Nick Saban would never admit it, but this is the type of game where you're probably going to see, the players like Terrion Arnold and Monkell Goodwine play at least, in the second half. So I've heard positive, nothing positive things about both those guys, and hopefully we'll see them rotated in. I don't think we'll see them probably in the first quarter as Alabama probably attempts to run the score up, but I definitely see them rotating later on in the game.
Are they really going to use Jahmyr Gibbs as a kickoff returner? I mean, we saw. I mean, they did that with Jamison Williams last year. You hold your breath every time the kid brings it out. And Nick Saban is not a big fan of the fair catch at the 18-yard line, to get it at the 25. But do you really think we'll see a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs as the kick returner?
I really don't think we will. We might early on just because of that injury to JoJo Earl. But what I've heard, you've also had decent returners in Roydell Williams. You've also had a decent returner in Tyler Harrell when he hasn't been injured. So, but while they might rely on Jahmyr Gibbs earlier, at least until JoJo Earl comes back, I don't think that's going to be a season-long thing for him. You hardly want your RB1 to be the primary kick returner. That's just asking for issues. Or even worse, injuries. So hopefully, I don't really see that being the case. But you never know, and that's what's going to be so exciting about here in about 40 minutes getting that depth chart.
Yeah, and Jace McClellan, everybody anticipates he's the first off the bench to back up Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. But I would think that it's more than just being quote unquote a backup. My guess is that, of course, this week I think we'll see him. We'll see Roydell Williams. If things are going right, you can see Trey Sanders. But I think that just week in and week out, I could see McClellan getting like 10 to 12 carries. This isn't going to be like a 2-carry type of deal. It seems like they'll probably look to utilize him, especially with Gibbs being, used both in the passing game and in the running game. You want to kind of manage those snaps a little bit.
Well, that's how Jace was utilized last year. Prior to his injury, when he was out there with Brian Robinson and Trey Sanders, that's typically how it was. He would get 8 to 10 carries a game, particularly in short yardage situations where he can pound it up the middle. But he's also a solid pass catching back as well, just like Gibbs. But I think you're right. I think he will be used in that, the kind of like it's selling him short to call him second string, but I think he'll be used in a rotation with Gibbs. Gibbs predominantly in the passing and maybe the sweeps just because of his speed. But I could definitely see Jace being utilized to rush up the middle with given his strength.
Yeah. All right. All goes up. By the way, you mentioned Brian Robinson. Do you know anything more than what we know, the stories that we've been reading? I mean, is this a carjacking? This is a attempted robbery? Was he shot was it the leg, the thigh, the calf? Do we know anything about it?
I don't think I know any more than you know, but what I do know so far is I have heard it was a carjacking that took place. 2 juvenile suspects tried to attempt to take his car. I heard that he was shot at least twice. I don't know the specific number, and I heard that they were both in the lower body. The good positive thing is that, of course, his head coach, Ron Rivera, visited with him, and apparently everything is fine and he's doing well and should be able to recover and get back on the football field. It might be a while, but the positive news is that apparently there's no long-term really bad injuries, which obviously you hear a running back getting shot in the lower body, that's never a good thing for his football career. But apparently everything is fine, and obviously wishing him nothing but the best. He's a really great guy.
And he's had a great camp. I mean, they really like him. He wasn't even going to be playing in this last preseason game, which is a great sign. You know, that means they consider him to be a regular rotational guy with their running back. So, yeah, it was interesting to see that happening. All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Good stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate you.
Let's get a break in here. When we come back, Auburn captain John Samuel Schenker is up next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heading into September, the LA Dodgers still the favorite to win the World Series. LA at plus 275, followed by the Astros as they surge past the Yankees in the latest odds at plus 400, the Yankees at plus 450, the Mets at plus 575, and the Atlanta Braves at plus 1,000. The NFL preseason in the books. The season starts September 11th for the Saints and Falcons as they will play in Atlanta in the season opener. New Orleans a 5.5-point favorite on the road, the over-under at 42.5. The Braves coming off a series loss at the Cardinals, taking 1 out of 3. They will be at home starting Tuesday against the Rockies. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com. I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in the Kia. Go Bulldogs!
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of the Samsung Bespoke Refrigerator's Beverage Center with internal water dispenser and built-in pitcher with flavor infuser for crisp, refreshing water. Making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Save up to $1,201 on this Samsung Bespoke Refrigerator at the Home Depot. Offer valid August 25th through September 14th. See store or online for details.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Hey friends, Eli Gold here for Environmental Comfort Systems. If you're concerned about the air quality inside your home, give my friend Rick Smith a call at Environmental Comfort Systems. Their indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of indoor air contaminants. Give the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and see how comfortable you can be. Breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect a partly sunny sky. High temperatures topping out in the lower 90s for the afternoon. My heat index values will be back in the 100s. Scattered showers and storms possible in the afternoon as well. For your Monday night, a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the lower 70s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Nick Saban Show.
We talk about finishing. That's like the number one word.
To Alabama football.
Touchdown, Alabama!
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This is the Thom Abraham Show with the Auburn Tigers captain, tight end John Samuel Schenker.
Wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, John Samuel Schenker. Touchdown, Auburn.
Presented by Valley Equipment Rental.
Yes, it's why they call it God's country. I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a pin found Dixie whistle in the wind.
And this segment of Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental, who brings you John Samuel Schenker every week. So, Grizz, did you do that? Who's taking credit for this? Because that's a well-produced piece. That's good production there.
Well, the beginning was Steve, and then I finished it off. So I really is just a kind of a combination, but mostly just his voice guy, and Steve did a great job.
Yeah, good job piecing that all together. And John Samuel Schenker joins us now here on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. All right, so what do you think, John Samuel? Did we nail it or what? Is that okay or what?
Yeah, y'all knocked that one out of the park. Now that was pretty awesome there. I felt like I was about to come up the bat.
Is there any other radio stations that did any better than us in terms of, a nice little intro for you?
Oh no, that's the cream of the crop right there.
That's what I'm talking about. Cream of the crop. You want me to email it to you? You want it? You could have it. You could put it in you can make it your ringtone or something like that on your phone. Or play it for your parents or something like that. You want it? I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll create my voicemail.
There you go. there you go. Make it your voicemail. All right, we'll get that sent over to you so you can check that out. All right, game week finally. Are you excited about finally hitting somebody with a different color helmet on?
Golly, yes. I am very excited. First week's always an awesome opportunity. You only get one of those a year. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. It's really an awesome feeling to just get ready for all the work that you put in, and now it's time to just go let it loose in front of 85,000 people.
Of course, everybody was waiting with bated breath to get the big news as to who would be starting. And in fact, I think I can go ahead and confirm that you will be the starting tight end, right? That's what we've been waiting on to know who would be that you will start at tight end and then you're a captain now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, TJ Finley was named a starting or a quarterback. I forgot about that. I guess that was some people wanted to know who was going to start at quarterback. We just wanted to make sure that you were starting because I didn't want to have to go do a deal with like Luke Deal or Tyler Fromm or one of these other guys. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk to your backups. I want to talk to the captain. Seriously, how did the room react to TJ Finley being named a quarterback? Did it matter at all? Did you guys know it was coming? Was it obvious as you got down to the end of fall camp that this was the guy?
I thought it was obvious this past week. He separated himself this past week to where I thought, yeah, there's no question who our starting quarterback's going to be week one. I just think early on in camp, he's just kind of getting his feet wet, and I think he was, I think he put some pressure on himself. But once we got going, he started to really understand the playbook, and he started to really perform well and kind of take control of the offense. And so I was not surprised when he was named the starter yesterday.
How much different is the playbook this year than it was last year under Brian Harsin? Because he kind of intimated that last year he wasn't able to get as much of his stuff in, and that this year he's able to kind of go a little deeper. Does it seem much different to you? Do you feel like there's, like you've added some pieces?
Yeah, I think he's added a little bit, but overall, we try not to change terminology and things just to make it easier for the guys. And you want the playbook to stay the same just so guys get a real good grasp of it, especially if you played last year. Now you can really hone in on the smaller details of the playbook rather than trying to learn the overall schemes and stuff like that. So there is obviously a few differences because Coach Harsin brought in his entire playbook now, but for the most part, it stayed the same as far as terminology is concerned.
Did you have you made a push for that tight end reverse? I mean, did they have that in there? Because I would imagine they'd want to get some speed on the corner, and maybe they need to run a little tight end reverse for you.
I would love that, but I don't know if reverse is in the cards. But I'm always down for maybe like a bubble, something like that. I mean, I ran a throwback last year in the Iron Bowl, so maybe something like that as well. Just a few little wrinkles here and there would be great.
Yeah, no, that would be outstanding. Now, did you change your number, by the way? I mean, what are we wearing 47 or are we wearing 25? What's the deal?
We're wearing 25. That was my number since I was 5 years old. I never had a different number, and then when I got to college, I had older guys that had my number, and obviously I couldn't get it, so I waited my turn. And when I came back this year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and get my number back. And Coach Harsin was like, yeah, absolutely. So I get to wear my number one last time.
Yeah, well, heck, you could probably wear that in the NFL now. I don't know. They kind of loosened up the rules as far as the number rules go. But 25 is definitely a faster number than 47, right? I mean, when you look at 47 is kind of is he a fullback? Is he a tight end? It's kind of a plotting number. I mean, 25, that's a little bit quicker number, I think, John Samuel.
Yeah, there's a running joke around here right now about that I look faster in 25 than I did in 47. It's just a slimmer number,
Yeah.
So there was we had a Instagram reel on Auburn football a few days ago, and a guy asked me a question, did you change your number because you were self-conscious about your weight and how it made you look? That's kind of been the running joke around the locker room, that I'm worried about my figure and try to slim down with the number.
It is a little bit of a fat guy number. I will say that, too. 47, it's getting a little too close to a lineman number. You know what I mean? It might be a little bit of a H-backy fat guy number. So, yeah, 25, definitely a slimming number for you. And what's weird is because there's all of these pieces that are out. You see them everywhere. They're talking about Auburn football. And anytime you see them talking about Auburn football and they put an image up, well, now they put Finley up because, he's the starting quarterback. But they've been putting up 47 a lot. And I'm like, why does it say 25 on the depth chart that I'm looking at? I'm like, why does it say 25? I thought he was 47. And so that's why I had to ask if you changed the thing. I don't know if you're going incognito or what the deal was.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't want the opponent to know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Change my number every week. Yeah.
They won't find you on the deal at all on the depth chart. All right. So you guys open up at home against Mercer. We're not going to get all excited and talk about what a big game this is rivalry-wise and all that, but it is, you got to be careful with anybody. I mean, it was just a few years ago when Jacksonville State, gave Auburn all they could stand. So you can't mess around. You got to put these kind of people away and work on your game, and there's no doubt about it. But in your mind, we were talking about the fact that Alabama has played these neutral site games since 2012, and this is now the next 5 years. They won't do it. In your mind, would you rather go play in the Mercedes-Benz Dome against a legit Power 5 powerhouse type team, or would you rather open at home, albeit against a smaller program where maybe you could kind of work out the kinks? Which would you prefer as a player on opening day to be doing? Big game, Jerry's World, or, you know what, we'll just stay right here at home and play somebody that we can kind of work on our game a little bit?
You know, I've done both, and I think from a player standpoint, I really enjoyed playing a big team early in the year. First game, like we went to Jerry's World in 2019 to play Oregon,
right?
And that was awesome. I think it creates more anticipation for the season. I mean, I think the excitement's there week one, regardless of who you play, right? But being able to play in a neutral site is always a unique experience. So I would, if I had to choose, I would say a neutral site. 'Cause next year, I won't be here, but Auburn goes out to L.A. They play UCLA next year, opening week. But yeah, you know, it is fun to open up at home with your fans. They're all fired up. But I think I would choose neutral site.
You know, I appreciate your brutal honesty there. All right, John Samuel Schenker with us here. I would expect it. I totally expected you to say, oh, no, because it's this year. Like, oh, no, this is great, playing at home and playing Mercer, and we're fired up, and blah, 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 blah. But you gave me a very honest answer there. So, and that's how I think a lot of players would feel. They want the big stage. They want to be in those big games. They want to be on ABC on Saturday night and all that kind of stuff. So good stuff there. I appreciate that. What happens in the locker room, or you guys, the teammates, texting each other and whatnot, when you find out that Alan Green is stepping down and you're without an AD now and you're going to have an interim AD? I mean, was that a little bit of a shock to the system, or do the players not even care about that kind of stuff?
No, it was definitely a talk in the locker room. I mean, nobody truly knows, you know, reasonings and things like that, and we don't really need to. You know, that's his life, and he thought that was what was best for him, which we understand that. You know, it is a business, and he's doing what's best for him and his family. So there wasn't a ton of talk just because we didn't really have anything to talk about other than, you know, we're going to miss him. He was a great AD for us. He was always around us, and we enjoyed having him at games and practices and things like that. But, you know, stuff like that, unless it's a big story with some controversy, there's not much to talk about in the locker room.
All right, finally back to the field for a minute. You know, you are the veteran there. You've got the experience and so on. The guys outside of you, not so much, whether it's Shedrick Jackson or Malcolm Johnson or Javarius Johnson or any other Johnson on the team. There's less experience out there. Talk to me about this receiver room and what your thoughts are, and you know, and how these guys might perform in your mind.
Well, Shed's been around longer than most. He's probably the most experienced guy we got. But then a guy like Malcolm, who, even though he hasn't gotten a lot of playing time in his few years that he's been here, he's done so much. He's worked so hard. He's really followed Shed around a lot and learned his ways, and he'll definitely be ready to go. But we brought in some transfers. Coy Moore was one from LSU last year.
Yeah.
He'll have a big impact for us. So we brought in some transfers that push these guys. I think our room's a lot better for it. So we have a little more experience this year than we did last year, which is, you know, you can never replace experience, really. But I think we're a lot deeper at wide receiver this year than last year. I mean, obviously you get through the season, you may have injuries here and there, but I feel really good about our room right now.
All right, so when you see 25 on the field, don't be saying, oh, look, Colby Wooden is now playing tight end. What are they doing with that? I mean, so we won't be confused now. We'll know that that's John Samuel Schenker looking much slimmer in his new number 25. John Samuel, I appreciate you. Good luck. Stay healthy this weekend, and it'll be great to talk next week about a game in the hopper.
Yes, sir. See y'all next week.
All right, man. Thank you. John Samuel Schenker. It's a good sport. Grizz, you don't hear that often I mean, I expected him to go full-born, oh, this is great playing at home, Mercer, blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, I'd rather be playing at Jerry's World in a big game. I mean, that's news-breaking
Big
right
time
there.
John.
I mean,
Big time John.
Good job by him.
I mean, yeah, I've always liked him.
John. He's an honest John. I mean, that's a good job by him. I mean, look, that's how I think.
Smart player.
I think that's how guys would say it. You know, what guys would say. You know, get us in them big games. We don't want to be playing Mercer. He didn't say this sucks playing Mercer at home. He didn't say that. I don't want to say that he said that. I want to get the kid jammed up. He just was honest. He said, I would rather be playing in a, like when they played Oregon in 2019. And everybody thought that, Bo Nix was going to win the Heisman Trophy. Remember that? He threw that touchdown pass at the end of that game against Oregon. Win that game. Very honest. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, if they blow that rocket off yet, what happened to the Artemis or whatever they call it? Did they blow the rocket off yet or not? I mean, they're not going to do that now? All right. We'll come back. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Attention sports fans, your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US and get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Stan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey there, folks. Head fry cook Bob Baumhauer here, and I just want to say thank you for allowing Baumhauer's Victory Grill to serve you for 40 legendary years. When I first delivered Alabama's first taste of buffalo wings back in 1981, people thought I was crazy. For the first few years, I had to give wings away. Imagine that. 40 years later, I'm still proud to serve the great people and visitors of Alabama our famous buffalo wings and much more. Here's to 40 years of legendary fun, legendary food, and many, many more.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Follow the Tide right here. Hi, this is Chris Stewart of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Your home of all things Bama is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Brought to you by our friends at BetUS.com. Back with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus, up to 200% cash in on all your favorite sports sign-up at BetUS.com. Or just call 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US. If you're going to BetUS.com, use the promo code WZZN. Okay? Earlier we told you promo code radio. Don't use promo code radio. They changed it. Use the promo code WZZN. All right, WZZN, our call letters. So use that promo code when you sign up at BetUS. All right, phone lines are open 256-576-4977. They didn't shoot off the Artemis this morning, Grizz. They had the rocket was sitting there. There was 3,000 people gathered this morning out at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center to see that new moon rocket launched by. So they had 3 test dummies in there. All right, so. They said they were sending 3 test dummies to the moon. So it was Smokey Mike Honcho, the Bandy Man, and I think Captain Cool were in the rocket, and they got those dummies out of the rocket. They're going to do their show, is what's going to happen today. Anyway, they had to cancel it.
Up.
It is messed up. That was kind of messed up.
That's pretty low blow.
That was low.
That was good, though.
Yeah, they're over there on the Blitz from 2 to 4. They had to cancel the launch because of a leak in the fuel tank. Now, you wouldn't think that this could happen, right? I mean, but it did. They were trying to top the tank off at 1 million gallons of hydrogen and oxygen, and it was leaking. It wouldn't hold. I guess it was just. I wonder, Grizz, if did they lock the pump on? You know what I mean? You put the pump on and you put the little handle. You think they locked the pump on, and then maybe they went inside to the store there at NASA. They went and get a cup of coffee, maybe visit the head. Maybe get a donut or something like that. They come back out and it's still pumping. It's like, why is it still pumping? Oh, we got a leak.
I don't think it's like going to the gas station, clicking the pump, and then you walk back, and then the thing clicked, and you didn't realize that it didn't fill up all the way.
It only did a little bit. Yeah.
It only did a little bit. You're like,
what?
Clicked.
It backed up on you, and it clicked.
No, this just kept going, and then it just kept pouring into the ground, and then you're just like, no, it's okay, it's fine. Spill
like at the AM, PM, or whatever it is,
just extra.
And you go,
They probably didn't need it. They probably.
I'm gonna start loading the rocket up with fuel. I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee and a donut.
I get it. They had dummies on board, but it would have been pretty stupid if they had launched it and it had gone up because
that would have been really bad.
It would have been a fireball.
Or if they launched it and they didn't have enough gas to get anywhere, you know what I mean?
Because it was goes about halfway and comes back down.
Yeah, they get halfway up there and the thing just comes back. I mean, come on, how long have they been working on this thing?
I don't understand how it's gettten worse. It's just crazy. In so many years, it's like it just can't figure it out.
They thought it was cracked. Did you hear that story? They thought that the rocket was cracked, and it turned out it was ice. It was frost on the outside of the rocket.
Still a problem.
It was icing on the outside. Well, because
I'm not a rocket scientist though, so I can't talk.
The hydrogen and the oxygen is extremely cold. The fuel that they use is very, very cold fuel. So the rocket was icing up on the outside of it, and so somebody looked at it and said, "Ooh, we got a crack." You know what I mean? And then they said, "No, it's just ice." And then somebody had to go out there with one on plastic ice scrapers, and scrape it up. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Now, let me get out of this segment. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I was taking a look at that list that I sent you about all the games for the week that I wanted to try to look at about betting on.
Yeah.
Nebraska is even with North Dakota. Not the North Dakota State Bison that are really good. The North Dakota State Fighting Hawks.
Are you sure?
Nobody on this radio station ever heard of today. Yes, it said that there was no line on ESPN.
No line is different than even. That's not even. That's no line. That's like there wasn't a line for Alabama, and there wasn't a line for the longest time. I think there's a line now, but there wasn't a line for like Auburn and Mercer, But no line is different than even. Don't confuse that. I mean, there got to be 40-point favorites in that game.
I would think, and you would think they would have put a line out on it, but they hadn't. I looked at it and I said, God.
Well, no, not always.
It's bad.
No, there are certain games that they will not put a line on if it's just too much of a mismatch. There are times when they don't do it, or they'll just do it really late, But that it's not always that means anything like that. That just means there's just no line on the game.
Hey, and if they're still looking for somebody to put in that rocket and send to space, I have it on good authority that Brian Harsin is still available.
He may be in the not-too-distant future with his AD. Now, wasn't it interesting that John Samuel Schenker, the way he made it sound was that, and this is the way the original release was that Alan Green resigned. Alan Green quit. Alan Green, that's the way everything original thing was Alan Green saying, it's time to do something else, blah, 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 blah. But from that moment forward, it immediately was Alan Green got fired. And look, they were not going to renew his contract. His contract's up at the end of the year. Well, he's got 4 months to go in his contract. They weren't going to renew it. So he just bailed. And they're just flat out calling it a firing. Alan Green was blown out. Alan Green this, Auburn being Auburn, all of that other kind of stuff. But you heard John Samuel say he made it sound like this was his decision. I don't think so.
Well, I guess they could have Alan Green fly the rocket then. That's 2 out of the 3 they would need. We're working on who number 3 would be. But
see, Wake Forest is playing VMI, the VMI Keydets, and there's no line on that game. Northern Illinois is playing Eastern Illinois. No line on that game. UAB is playing Alabama A&M. No line in the UAB Alabama A&M game. So there's some of that.
Little crazy.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you.
Roll Tide, brother.
All right. Roll Tide. Well, we'll have good games in Beat the Big Dog. The BetUS.com Beat the Big Dog will have good games in it. And the Friday Trifecta will have good games in it. We're not going to have any of these crazy games. All right, coming up next, Chuck Oliver, followed by Paul Feinbaum, who will say outrageous things because, gets ratings. And The Drive with Wes and Steve, all right here on 97.7. Wait a minute. Nick Saban at the top of the hour, and then Chuck Oliver, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.